What's up, model makers? I've got a quick product review for you today. I've been making use of a lot of panel line washes on some of my projects lately. I've been working on my Accurate Miniatures 148th B25B Mitchell and doing all sorts of panel line work on the bottom of that wing, as you can see there. And in that process, I've been making use quite a bit of these Tamiya panel line accent colors. And I just thought that, well, maybe we can focus there. Come on, camera. Let's try one more time. Tamiya panel line accent colors. Right there, camera. Anyway, these are really good. I like them a lot, and I just thought I'd show you real quickly how they work. So let's take a look. As you can see, I've got four colors here. I've got the dark brown, which you can see is pretty dark brown. And then I've got the regular brown, which is really almost more of a rust color. And the gray, which you can see is kind of a light primer gray color. And then the black. I actually got all of these off of Amazon. These three here came as a set for about 25 bucks. They've proven to be extremely useful. Let's just take a quick look at exactly how they work. I've got the black one already kind of open here. So let's just lay some on here, and you can see exactly what it does. Now I know you're saying, well, it's a panel line wash. I mean, what is there really to look at? And the truth is, not much. But there's kind of a point that I want to make here. You see how that just flowed out there like that? Now, also note that this is a flat paint surface, and it is directly on the paint. There's no varnish of any kind on this. And the point that I'm making here is that a lot of people will insist that you must do panel line washing or any kind of washes on a gloss surface because they won't flow if you don't. Now, you can see that obviously is not the case. They flow just fine. And actually, in my experience, I don't get any better flow down the panel lines with gloss than I do with flat. And I think that the reason there is because what's going on down inside that groove actually has very little in common with what's going on up here on the top surface. You know, even if you polish all of this and it's glass smooth, well, you're not polishing down inside that line, so it's not really going to make a whole lot of difference there. Now, where having a gloss surface can help you is with the cleanup. It is definitely easier to remove the wash after it's dried from a gloss surface, but you can still do it on a matte surface. And I've actually got some of the dark brown right here that I put there maybe half an hour ago, and it's already pretty well dried. And let's just take a quick look at how that cleans up. I've got here a Q-tip that has just a bit of mineral spirits soaked into the tip of it. Okay, so I'm just going to start working that surface to remove that, and you can see obviously it comes off of the decaled surface there more easily, but it is definitely coming off of that. And what I do a lot of times is I just wipe that with my finger after I get things loosened up, and you can see that it's come off there pretty effectively. Now, what it does do with a flat surface is that it tends to spread into the surrounding area a little bit. And you can either use that to your advantage, or it can be a problem. It just kind of depends on the effect that you're after. If you're looking for grime and spreading fuel stains and things like that, then it's perfect. And working on a matte surface makes a lot of sense because you know, the mineral spirits reducer that's in these panel line washes is just a petroleum distillate, and it's very similar to diesel, aviation fuel, kerosene, and things of that nature. So letting it do its thing as it naturally would is a good weathering technique in my view. But if you want a more pristine appearance, and you don't want the grime, then that's when it makes sense to work on a glossier surface. Working directly on the paint like this, especially on flat paint, also has the disadvantage that it's a more fragile surface. There's no denying that. A good coat of all-clad aqua gloss will definitely toughen things up. So, it's just kind of what you're after and what you can tolerate, and these are just things you have to take into account when you are planning your strategy. Okay, so there's a quick look at the Tamiya panel line accent colors and how they work, which I think you have to agree is pretty good. What I really like about these is that they have super dense pigmentation in them, and the pigments are really fine. Much finer, for example, than what I've found in the AK Interactive washes, and even a bit finer than what I find in the MIG panel line washes. I also really like that they are very handy because they've got the brush in there. So when I just need to do something really quick, it's nice not to have to wash out a brush afterwards, because basically, what can I say, I'm lazy. But they're not perfect. The colors that they offer, and I'm not exactly sure how many colors they do offer, but they're not what I want for all of my panel line washes. What I want on most panel lines is a complementary color, but something darker. So if I've got, for example, olive drab as my base color, then I want a dark green panel line wash. And the MIG panel line washes for that are wonderful because they do offer all of those complementary colors. But for basic things like fuel stains, filthy panel lines, or what I call functional panel lines, which is where you've got, like the case of an aileron that's a moving surface, or a landing gear door, where I like to use a black panel line wash in those to kind of separate those from the non-functional panel lines. So for those things, these Tamiya colors are great with the black, the brown, the gray. Honestly, what I'll probably end up using the gray for mostly is to mix with the black or the brown to create various shades of gray. So I think these are going to prove to be more and more useful as time goes by. I think they're a great product, and they actually were pretty easy for me to get. I got them from Amazon. I got the set of 3 actually in like 2-3 days. The dark brown I bought separately. It came from Japan, and it took like 3 weeks, but it was no big deal. So anyway, there you go. Another product that I hope you find useful. Thanks for tuning in. Much love.